Welcome to Inside Rangers Football. I'm your host, Brant Freeman, alongside Smith Valley head coach Larry Hill. Coming up in this week's show, we'll look back at last Friday's season opener at Midland Lee and look ahead to this Friday's home opener versus Pflugerville Hendrickson. But first, Coach, let's start with the game at Midland Lee from this past Friday. Long road trip for you against a very quality opponent in the Rebels. 45-21 setback. What was your overall assessment of the way your team played?
Well, I thought we did some things very, very well. You know, we dug a hole, we got out of the hole, we took the lead, they countered back, we countered again. A one-score game at half, but, we had a little stretch there in the third quarter where, your margin for error, you find out against good teams is real small. You turn it over, they get a short field to score. You go all the way down to the red zone and going to answer that, and then turn it over in the red zone and don't score, So untimely penalties, half a step late, half a step early, just things that when you play teams maybe not their caliber or maybe you get away with. And they're the type of team that we'll need to beat to get where we want to go. And so, we wanted to win the game. We didn't, but, hopefully there's some lessons learned there.
You'd be hard-pressed to find a team playing at any level that would play their best game of the season in week one. You're only going to get better from here. But what do you want to find out from a football team during your season opener and moving forward?
Well, I think when you get through with the game, of course we had 2 scrimmages, so maybe we've begun that process, but the game is different. And, what is this kid or set of kids' strengths? What does he do well? What does the defense, what don't they do well? What alterations do we need to make to maximize our strengths and downplay areas maybe that we're not as good in? And that takes a little time. Certainly, as I said earlier, when you play a really quality football team, it flushes those things out, good and bad. So, back to work, and we'll see where we're at next week. 21
points. You scored all 3 of your touchdowns in the first half, unable to crack the scoreboard in the second. What was the biggest difference for the offense from the first half to the second?
Well, we had the good drive, of course, into the red zone and probably should have come away with points there. Had a chance to score, had a holding call, moved us back, put us behind the chains, and we turned the ball over. I don't know that there was really any one thing. Lee didn't necessarily do things just a whole lot different. We didn't do a whole lot different. Maybe just didn't execute quite as well in the second half. Didn't have great field position. Kicking game, we didn't really make any impact plays on returns or coverage to force them into a long field or to create a short field for us. And those are the types of things we have to do to be successful. And it's an area we got to get better in.
You handed the ball off to Jacob Fortone 20 times, 20 carries in the opener this past Friday. Was very good with them. 93 yards rushing, had a touchdown. What are your expectations for Fortone this season?
Well, to be the workhorse. That's a role we've created with him in mind. That's kind of who he is. About mid-season last year, we started to shift towards him and using him in that role. And he's the kind of back that's underrated as far as elusiveness. But he's very low to the ground. He's very shifty. You don't get a real good shot on him, and he's hard to bring down because he's so powerful. And he's the kind of back that gets better as the game goes. And in the third and fourth quarter, our intention is to ride that horse and wear him down a little bit. And he's made for that.
Now, your defense gave up 45 points, yes, but they made their share of plays on Friday. There was a turnover that you had defensively that was thanks in large part to the defensive line. Looking back at the play of your defense against, again, a very good offense from this past Friday, how do you feel they played?
Well, it's funny, when you give up, a few points, you start thinking, well, maybe we didn't play well, but explosive plays. They had 7, we had 5. Theirs resulted, 3 of them resulted in touchdowns. And that can't be the way you explain it away. Okay, well, we play good defense except for the 3 long scores. Well, that's 3 long scores, but all in all, I thought we did some things. We had some bright spots there on defense. Clearly, we've got to do some things to make them drive the ball. And we've got to get off the field a little bit quicker. And when we do, we've got to make some, I mentioned earlier, some kicking game play. We got to pressure some punts. We got to block some kicks. We got to get some big returns. Those are things we make a living on and things that were noticeably absent last Friday night.
Playing in an 8-team district, you have limited opportunities in non-district play to see what you're made of before 26-6A play gets going. You have Madison coming up later in non-district, Pflugerville Hendrickson, of course, coming up this week. But looking at an opponent like Midland Lee, how does playing a Rebel team like that help you get ready for what you'll see in 26-6A?
Well, if you're going to play in the big boy league, you might as well get used to it. And clearly Judson, Clemens, Steele, Nebrom, those are guys that will bring it every week. And to play that caliber of an opponent, we felt like we scrimmaged one of those. We felt like we played one of those, got a few more to play. You get your feelings hurt sometimes. At the same time, good or bad, I think you're preparing yourself for the level of play that you have to play at in this league or get swallowed up. And so to go schedule some cream puffs or some cupcakes that, we can go home after the game and feel good about it, but we've set an awful low ceiling, and we're going to be disappointed come October and November.
Well, again, the Rangers came up short this past Friday, but Smithson Valley made its share of plays in the opener against Midland Lee. So with that, let's toss to the Coach Hill for this week's Plays of the Week.
Let's take a look. Our first big play is our first touchdown. It's you can see we're 65 yards away from the goal line, and we've got a circle around junior wide receiver Maverick Freeman, who missed most of the preseason with an injury. We're glad to have him back last Friday night. As the play unfolds, you can see we get great pass protection here. Our offensive line giving Luke Gombert, our quarterback, plenty of time. Got a nice cup, nice pocket there. And then we launch it up the field. We weave some routes together, and you can see Mavericks almost 10 yards behind them all, the ball dropping out of the sky. We made that a nice, easy catch for him being that open. And 65 yards later, we have our first score of the year. See it a little bit better from the rear. Don't have a great angle on this, but you can see Luke Gombert, our quarterback, doing a good job of looking off the defense with his eyes. And then we weave some routes together, and then Greg Eggleston settles into that short zone, and you can see the safety driving down on him, and he never sees Maverick get behind him. And they're again just looking at it from the other side. Ties the score up 7-7, and then that leads us to our next big play, which is the very next series. On third down, we have a 3rd and 10, and we've seen this play out before when we have to have it. We're showing a blitz. That's Carson Padilla, one of our senior linebackers, coming off the edge. He draws the block of the offensive lineman, which frees up our defensive end, junior Trey Moore, to get in the quarterback's face and bat the ball up in the air, gets his hands up, knocks the ball in the air, and then it comes down to Tanner Hobeck, a senior defensive end, in the air. A big turnover, almost gets out of there and scores. Does run it a ways, and we score a few plays later to take our first lead. See it a little bit better from the rear. You can kind of see how the whole thing unfolds. First, you got Carson coming off the edge here, Carson Padilla, there on the blitz. As he blitzes, he draws the block of the guard. You can see the guard goes out to get him, and when he does, that frees up a big lane inside for Trey Moore to come underneath. And when he does, he gets those hands up, knocks the ball up in the air, and then there's Tanner Hobeck all the way on the other side. The ball just kind of ricocheted over to him. We go in the end zone 2 plays later to take a 14-7 lead there in the second quarter. Our last big play is our 12-yard touchdown run. You can see we're getting a play from the sideline, and Jacob Fortone, our halfback, our senior halfback, will take this in for a touchdown behind some good blocks that we'll show you. The first block is senior fullback Austin Howe leading on a linebacker, followed immediately by a big block by our tight end Chandler Cole, and our wide receiver Greg Eggleston on the safety. Got a big hole. Jacob is able to carry the remaining guy into the end zone. From the end zone, you can see it again. We did what we call a false cadence first, and then we're getting a play from the sideline. And we hand the ball off to Jacob, and here comes Austin Howell, our big fullback, on their linebacker right there. There's Chandler Cole on their outside linebacker. Jacob Fortone reads those blocks, bounces the ball to the outside, and then he picks up Greg Eggleston's block up the field, splits the defense, carries him into the end zone for a touchdown. And those are our plays of the week.
And that again, a look back at the season opener at Midland Lee. Coming up later, a look ahead to the home opener against Pflugerville Hendrickson. Up next, senior moments, Rangers trivia, and more. Back with more Inside Rangers football in just a moment.
Stop at Fisher's Neighborhood Market for anything a Ranger could need. Whether you're heading to work, coming home from school, or just needing a break to grab something tasty, Fisher's Neighborhood Market is your one-stop shop. Fisher's Neighborhood Market is proud to sponsor the Smithson Valley Rangers.
Matt, we are excited to hear what you have come up with for the new Sage Capital Bank jingle.
You are going to love it. We think it really embodies Sage Capital Bank. Emotes class, tradition, effort. Well, just give it a listen.
Man, that's really got spirit, but isn't that?
Awesome.
That's the Smith.
Best song ever.
Well, yes, it is.
Yes, nailed it. Guys, we have got ourselves a jingle. Let's do it again.
Sage Capital Bank is proud to support the Smithson Valley Rangers, and you can bank on that.
Welcome back to Inside Rangers Football. Brant Freeman alongside Rangers head coach Larry Hill. Another season of the show, another season of senior moments, but a little bit of a change this year for senior moments. Now more of a game show style format. Very curious how this turns out. So with that, let's get into Emily Wick for this year's first edition of Senior Moments. Emily?
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Brant. Today I am here with Colin, Joaquin, and Donnie, ready to play some Rangers trivia. Guys, would you like to know what you're playing for today? Today you are playing for a little bit of Ranger history. We've got a piece of the field here from the years of 2011 and 2019. Now that we're getting a new field, this is still pretty special, right? So the winner gets to take a little bit of history home with them today. How's that sound?
Pretty good.
All right, who's ready to play?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, guys, first question. On a standard street light, is green on the top or on the bottom? Who got it, Joaquin?
Yeah, it's on the bottom.
Bottom is correct. Good job. How long you been driving, Joaquin?
Well, like a year and a couple months now.
Okay, so you're getting to be a real pro.
Something like that.
Something like that. Any tickets yet?
No.
Oh, that's good news. Bet your mom's glad for that.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay, next question, guys. What is the movie called that an actor says the line, "I feel the need for speed"? Who got that? Donnie?
Cars.
No, it's not Cars.
That's what I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna say.
Joaquin?
Fast and Furious.
No, it's not Fast and Furious.
I have no clue.
Colin, you gonna give it a try?
I have no guess. I really don't.
Guys, Top Gun.
Oh, I have the movie. I've never seen it.
How have you never seen Top Gun?
I don't know.
I've never seen
Oh,
I have to go
y'all
watch it
need to
tonight.
go home and watch that this afternoon.
I might have it.
You've got some catching up to do. And part 2's coming out soon. Yeah. Okay, guys, we're going way back. I'll give you a hint. This line is from a children's movie back in the 80s. Okay, you ready? These look like big, strong hands, don't they?
What? wait. I don't know the name.
Donnie? No, it's not E.T. Colin?
Iron Giant?
No, not Iron Giant.
What is that?
I don't know.
Joaquin, it's your guess.
It's from a point, dude. There's a lot on the line. I'm just gonna go with
Okay.
Dumb Hands or something like that. Like, you know,
No. The movie called The Never Ending Story.
I never
Never even heard of
about
it.
that.
Y'all have to go home and watch that too now.
okay, that's my
I thought
homework.
I knew this.
For 1 point, who can finish this song? You're the best. Donnie, keep going. Oh no! Anybody? Joaquin.
Come on. Like, I'm the best around. Nobody's ever gonna bring me down.
So close. Colin,
Oh, you're the best around. No one's ever gonna bring me down.
you were the closest, so I'm gonna give you that point.
Or
Nothing's
nothing's-
gonna ever keep you down. Very good, guys. For an extra point, what movie is that off of?
Oh, that's Wait, how do you not know that? Oh, wait. Oh, y'all don't know that?
For an extra point, name the movie. Donnie? The Karate Kid. Good job. That's right.
No, not the old one.
For an additional point, who was Karate Kid's instructor's name? Donnie.
It was in my mind now.
Uh-oh.
Come on.
He's gonna have to pass.
No! I got it.
Colin.
Mr. Miyagi.
Mr. Miyagi. You got it. Now, total wild card. We've got one more extra point riding on this. What sitcom back in the day did Mr. Miyagi start on? This one's a tough one. I'm gonna give you a hint. These days are ours. Nobody? Happy Days with the Fonzie. That's where you gotta start.
Feel so uncultured.
For the tiebreaker right now, well, we could have a three-way tie depending. It's 2 to 2 to 1. Who's ready for the next question? All right, let's do this. Which team holds the highest total of wins in the FBS? Joaquin.
Bama?
No, that's such a good guess though. Colin?
Go Clemson.
No. All right, Donnie, it's your guess.
I don't think it's a new team. What's the old team?
Hit your buzzer. Take a
I
guess.
saw this on Instagram a couple of days ago.
Take a
Oh my god. I feel like it did too.
I'm just gonna say a team that's won a lot.
Okay.
Yale.
No. The correct answer is Michigan.
Dude. Oh my god.
Okay. Okay. For an extra point, let's see if you can pull this one off. What is Michigan's mascot? Donnie? Wolverine is right. Good job.
No, I just didn't hit it fast enough.
Here's an interesting fact. Back in 1927, the Wolverines decided that it would be a good idea to bring a couple of Wolverines to the game. Didn't go so well. They actually started chewing through their cage. They might be a little too aggressive to go to a football game. Maybe that's what helped Michigan have the most wins, right? Yeah, probably. Tough mascot. So it was a heated and tough competition today. Guys, you all did such a great job, but there is a winner. Donnie, you're my winner. Very good job. Coach Brant, back to you.
Coach, I hope your players can step up their trivia game moving forward.
I just hope they can play on the field better than they can do that game.
Well,
pretty bad. Pretty bad.
That's fair. That's fair. But I'll tell you what, though, let's go from NFL and movie trivia to Rangers trivia. This week's edition of Rangers trivia. Let's check it out. This week in Rangers trivia, Friday's home opener versus Pflugerville Hendrickson will mark Smithson Valley's 120th home game since 1996. How many home games have the Rangers won in the last 23 years? Is the answer A, 95 games, B, 100 games, or C, 105 games? The answer is C, 105 games. Smithson Valley's home winning percentage since the 1996 season is an impressive .882, including a 36-4 record in non-district home games at Ranger Stadium. Yes, that's right. A 36-4 record in non-district play at home since 1996. Taking it even further to include district play, a winning percentage nearing 90%. So, Coach, over the years, Ranger Stadium has treated you well.
Yeah, but it's not 100%. So it'd be better if it was 100%. But you're right. It's been a great place to play. We have great fans, great atmosphere. Our student body does a great job. Our band, our spirit groups, and you know, Ranger Stadium is a good place to be on Friday night.
And that's where you will be this coming Friday night as Smithson Valley hosts Pflugerville Hendrickson. We'll talk more about that game after the break right here on Inside Rangers Football.
Years ago, HEB set out on a mission to get rid of things like high fructose corn syrup and artificial flavors and hundreds of other synthetic ingredients from our HEB brand products. You don't see those things out here, and you won't find them in more than 1,000 of our HEB Select Ingredients products. Just look for the green check to know you're getting everything you want and nothing you don't. And we're gonna keep those green checks coming. I'm Scott, and this is the Select Ingredients Department at HEB. No store does more than my HEB.
Many tales have been told of Africa, but none like this. This is our story. This is Serengeti.
Watch Discovery, GVTC, Channel 554.
And we're back at Inside Rangers Football, now ready to talk about the home opener coming up this Friday as Smithson Valley hosts Pflugerville Hendrickson, a team that is off to a 1-0 start. Coach, this is a Hendrickson team you tried to play last year. Mother Nature wouldn't let you do that. You get them, though, this season at home, and hopefully the weather complies as you host the Hawks this Friday. What makes Pflugerville Hendrickson another quality non-district opponent for you?
Well, I mean, you trace their history. You know, since the school's open, Coach Killian's been their coach, and they've had a number of deep playoff runs. They're always a threat to win their league and advance 3, 4, 5 rounds in the playoffs. They've done it before and got a team that's capable of doing it again. So, you know, poor scheduling on Coach Hill's part. You know, we go from scrimmaging O'Connor to playing Midland Lee to playing these guys, but very explosive offensively, both from the quarterback and running back position have shown the ability to do that. And as always, and I don't know how they clone them or how they do it, but their defensive front is so imposing.
Yeah.
Their defensive tackles and ends. It seems like they changed jersey numbers and changed names, but their style of play and the caliber of player that they have at those positions never seems to change. And so we've got our work cut out for us.
And again, the Hawks are 1-0. Last week they defeated Texas High last Thursday, 21-7. In that game, quarterback Xavier Lucio accounted for all 3 Hawk touchdowns and over 250 yards of offense as well. What will it take to contain a dual threat quarterback like that in the Hawks offense as they come into Ranger Stadium?
Well, that's the question I asked in our staff meeting the other day. What will it take to contain? You know, he's designed running game is very effective. Zone read running game, he's very effective. Very comfortable throwing from the pocket, but yet when the play breaks down, he's athletic enough to create. Smart player and knows how to create a play outside the pocket. So we're going to have to mix our looks on him. There's no question. We're going to have to contain him and get high up on his shoulder, and if he does escape, make him escape inside where maybe we've got some help. And I don't think he's a guy that you just shut down, but you try to contain big play, make him go on 8, 10, 12 play drives and not the 1 play drive. And that's our strategy. We'll see how it works out. You know,
earlier we mentioned the fact that teams don't typically play their best football this early in the year. You have a lot of kinks to work out. But again, Hendrickson's defense held Texas High to 7 points on the road last week. You spoke highly about the Hawks' defensive front. What else makes their defense so difficult to game plan for?
Well, I think their secondary is good, and they take away your easy throws and make you hold the ball a little while. And then, you know, if they can make you hold it a while, then maybe their big boys then have a chance to do their thing. And as I said, that's been very characteristic of all their teams. They've got a great defensive culture there, and that's why they've been so good for so long.
Again, our trivia this week centered around the success you've had at Ranger Stadium, but you look back at last week, that was a really long road trip to Midland. You got back in, 5, 6 a.m. after you got done playing the game. So how satisfying is it in being able to be at home? Your commute this time is much shorter.
Yeah, it's just about a 20-step 20-step road trip this time to get out on the field, and but that was good for us. We needed to take trips. If we're going to get where we want to go, we might have to take some long trips later on. So, you know, our kids handled the trip well. We really felt good about it. But it will be nice to be at home. You know, a little bigger crowd, obviously, a lot bigger crowd. Band, spirit groups, you know, all the atmosphere and excitement that is Ranger Stadium on a Friday night in September.
Well, Coach, looking forward to it.
Okay, thank you, Brant.
Again, Smithson Valley hosting Pflugerville Hendrickson this Friday at 7:30 from Ranger Stadium. We'll have the game for you on the Rangers Network. For head coach Larry Hill, I'm Brant Freeman. This has been Inside Rangers Football. Thanks as always for watching, and we'll see you next time.